You know, muscle cars have always been about pushing limits. Big engines, loud exhausts, wild designs. It's what made them legendary. But sometimes they pushed a little too far. Some muscle cars were so extreme, so powerful, or just so ahead of their time that they got banned, restricted, or flat out pulled from the streets. Today we're diving into 10 muscle cars that weren't just fast. They were too extreme for the world around them. Let's get into it. Starting off strong, we got the 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. Let's start with the car that didn't just break records, it broke the rulebook. The 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon was a factory-built drag car disguised as a street-legal muscle car. This wasn't just about horsepower, it was about making a statement. Dodge cranked the supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi up to 840 horsepower on race fuel. It came with skinny front tires, a trans brake for quicker launches, a passenger seat delete, and even a set of drag tools in a crate. It was the first production car that could lift its front wheels off the ground. 0 to 60 in just 2.3 seconds, officially the fastest production car at launch. But the wildest part? It ran the quarter mile in 9.65 seconds, which is so fast the NHRA immediately banned it from competition unless you added a roll cage and parachute. And that's not a suggestion, it's a rule. Any car that runs quicker than 9.99 seconds is required to meet strict safety standards. The Demon didn't, because Dodge wasn't trying to build a race car. They wanted the fastest production muscle car, period. Dodge turned the ban into a badge of honor, even including the NHRA violation letter in their promotional materials. It was genius marketing, turning banned into bragging rights. And get this, even though only about 3,300 Demons were ever made, their street legend status exploded. Today, clean examples are already collector grade, with prices climbing well above original MSRP. The Demon wasn't just a fast car, it was Dodge's mic drop in the modern muscle car era. Unapologetic, untamed, and too extreme for the system. Sliding into number 2, we got the 2021 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 and SS, banned in California and Washington. And get this, it wasn't horsepower that killed them, it was the brake pads. California's environmental laws limited how much copper could be in brakes to help protect aquatic life. The ZL1 and SS still had high copper brake materials, so they were just straight up banned from sale in those states. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. This monster Camaro with a supercharged V8 under the hood didn't get banned because it was too fast. It got banned because it stopped too good. Modern muscle cars just can't catch a break. Alright, next up we got the 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. This thing didn't just dominate, it changed the entire game. Built purely to crush NASCAR competition, it had a huge aerodynamic nose cone and a comically massive rear wing. The Daytona was the first car to officially break 200 miles per hour in NASCAR history. And because of that, NASCAR panicked. They changed the rules to ban aero cars like the Daytona from competition. Even on the streets, it was outrageous. You couldn't park one in a normal garage because of the wing height. And yet, this muscle car still became a legend because it dared to go way too far. Speaking of too much for the system, let's talk about the 1990 to 1993 Consulier GTP. Yeah, it's not your typical muscle car, but in spirit, this thing lived the outlaw lifestyle. It was lightweight, mid-engine, and turbocharged, and it completely destroyed everything in IMSA racing. Corvettes, Mustangs, Ferraris, you name it, it embarrassed them. The other teams whined so much that IMSA literally changed the rulebook just to get rid of it. Imagine building a car so good that officials basically say, yeah, you're banned. That's muscle car energy, right there. Next up, we got the 1971 Chevrolet Corvette ZR2, only 12 ever made. And it wasn't because Chevy didn't want to sell more, it was because this car was absolutely unhinged. A 454 cubic inch LS6 engine, heavy-duty everything. It was basically a race car wearing a barely legal license plate. But America was changing. Insurance premiums for high-horsepower muscle cars skyrocketed. Gas prices were on the rise after the oil crisis, and emissions rules started tightening the noose around performance cars. The ZR2 wasn't outlawed by a single rule. It was crushed by the system before it even had a chance. Rolling heavy, let's talk about the 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. When you hear Hemi, you think muscle car royalty. The Cuda was outrageous. 426 Hemi cubic inches of pure chaos. But the world didn't want chaos anymore. Insurance companies jacked premiums so high that even die-hard muscle car fans couldn't afford them. New federal emissions standards started choking big engines, and the Hemi Cuda became extinct almost overnight. Today, if you see one at auction, it's probably selling for over $500,000, and worth every penny. Next up, the 1970 Ford Torino Cobra Super Cobra Jet. 429 cubic inches, drag strip gears, an absolute heavyweight fighter in a three-piece suit. It was a muscle car made for guys who didn't just want to win stoplight races, they wanted to humiliate the competition. But by 1971, insurance companies and government regulations started killing off muscle cars like this. The Torino Cobra didn't just fade out, it was forced off the road by a system terrified of how powerful these cars had gotten. Let's keep it rolling with the 1971 Dodge Charger Super B 446 pack. 3 carbs, brutal acceleration, and instant street cred. But again, multiple carbs made insurers see red. And new emissions regulations didn't help either. By the time the 72 models rolled around, the 6-pack was gone. It was too wild, too raw, and too unwilling to be tamed for the new safety-first mentality sweeping the country. Coming in hot, the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, born from a loophole, an all-aluminum 427 race motor stuffed into a lightweight Camaro body, built for one thing, domination. But even back then, buyers knew it was ridiculous. It idled like a tractor. It overheated in traffic. It cost nearly twice as much as a normal Camaro. Only 69 were built, because very few people wanted to daily drive a ticking time bomb with dealer plates. And finally, the 1971 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. This is the last great heavyweight champ. It had 450 underrated horsepower, which gave it a sense of pure street terror that shocked most folks. But it hit the streets during the death spiral of the muscle car era. Unleaded fuel mandates, crash safety standards, insurance assassins. The LS6 Chevelle became one of the final full-blooded muscle cars before everything got softer, slower, and heavier. It was the closing bell for an entire generation of street monsters. And there you have it. 10 muscle cars that weren't just fast. They were too extreme for the world around them. Some scared lawmakers, some scared insurance companies, and some scared everyday drivers who realized they were holding on to real-deal street missiles. Which one would you take home today? Let me know down below. And if you loved this outlaw muscle car history lesson, smash that like button, subscribe, and check out some of my other videos if you enjoyed this one. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.